Hey everybody, we're back in the garage working on some projects, obviously, just like the Q-Bird. There's a lot of projects I have. Trying to get through a few of them just good enough to get into the basement, clean them up, and get them together so I can make room for a car in here. This was a time pilot. It was waterlogged. I got it from somewhere in Virginia, Southern Virginia, I think, or Southwest Virginia. But the whole thing is from the top. It doesn't look too bad on the sides. I mean, it's kind of solid. You can tell it's not really, waterlogged or swollen on the sides, but it's like super rusted. All of this I had to take off. So the back door, see, you can see it was like sitting in water. Maybe, I don't know. There was like mud or something on the bottom. It probably could be saved, honestly, but you can see some of the cracks, like almost like the, what do you call this? MDF. You can almost see like the cracks in the MDF and stuff on the side. So I don't know. I'm going to show you a little bit of that. But then I picked up this one, which was, I think, empty. It was a Miss Pac-Man conversion. And I might have gotten this for like free. I don't know. It was definitely cheap. Interesting thing is it has a G07 vertical chassis or frame, or at least that's what it looks like, which you don't see a lot of G07 verticals for whatever reason. I don't know, mostly 4900s or 4600s on the vertical, but so that's pretty interesting. I think it was completely empty, and I'll show you in a second, but this was originally a Locomotion, which was a game made by Konami, and they converted it, I guess, to Miss Pac-Man. So what I plan on doing is cleaning up this cabinet because it's solid. It's not waterlogged. It has a good, top and everything. And then putting my time pilot stuff because this was complete time pilot. I took all the stuff out. Monitor chassis was super rusted. De-rusted that many years ago and stuff, but I'm getting back to the project. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with this cabinet. Let me see what else I can show you. Like, see how bad this looks right there. This goes right here. How do I do this with one hand? Like this. I mean, it was just like barely hanging in there, rusted ass nails and everything. The speaker part is completely jacked up. It's all waterlogged and rusty. This is all messed up. Let me take off the top. Yeah, there's the top. So, I mean, it definitely needs a new top recut at a minimum. And then I don't know if you could save the sides. I was thinking about giving this to Brian if he doesn't have this to trace. Because this is the kind of cabinet that just replace it. It's MDF and you can, cut one. Probably, if you have better skill than me, it's probably not too difficult to do. See, that's all rusted and stuff. Get it out of there. There we go. Yeah, see, that's all messed up and stuff. So, but anyway, let's focus on this cabinet here. I already started working on the back door a little bit because it was jacked up, it had holes in it. It didn't. The bottom was messed up, and it would fall through the back side. So I'm gonna plug some holes just to plug them, I guess, and then drill out the Bondo job that I did there. For the most part, I'm just gonna clean up this cabinet, magic eraser, get it as good a shape as I can. We're worthy of being in the basement without spider webs and any bugs or anything like that hanging around. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do with that cabinet, but I have all my time pilot stuff, and hopefully we can put it in there. All right, looking at my donor cabinet here in the back, see the G07 flyback was just cut. Oh, maybe because they wanted to yank the tube out of it or something, and I don't know why would they cut all this? That's kind of dumb. But looks like a power supply. I don't know if, yeah, it does look like that might be an original power supply, because it has this mount like this that looks like it's kind of original. I don't remember that being in my yeah, maybe it was very similar over there. Yeah, that's the time pilot. So yeah, I think the cabinets are very, very similar, but one thing is on the time pilot they don't have these little hole covers for the monitor mount. So in the time pilot they just had, see, you can see, like, that's the other reason why this thing needs to be replaced. I mean, this was so waterlogged. You can see the discoloration in there. It was a mess. But this cabinet has like little plugs, so I'm kind of curious how they did that, or how that mounts is a little bit different. For example, some spider webs and stuff. But that's what it looks like on the inside. I'm just doing a quick little before because sometimes I take things out and I don't remember where they go. There's like a lock on the on this right here. I'm gonna have to cut that lock off with some bolt cutters probably. But overall, I mean, it's pretty clean. I mean, it's not too bad. I should be able to get this down. And I have a 4900 monitor chassis. I mentioned that before, with the time pilot tube. It looks like they cut the speaker wires as well. Doesn't even look like an original speaker, maybe. Very small. Maybe it is original. Yep. Not too bad. Oh, where does it say Locomotion at? There you go. See how it says Locomotion? So originally this was a Locomotion number 00007 or something like that. Number 7 of the Locomotion. So, I mean, should I restore it as a Locomotion? Probably not. That game I don't think is that good. But it is kind of interesting that this was originally a Locomotion cabinet. It looks like there is a little bit of damage right here, probably from moving it while it was on its back. But not too bad. All right, just a little update here. Got most of the stuff out. Got this rat nest of a cheap Chinese JAMA connector out of there. Most everything looks okay. I'm just getting some close-up details. This looks like it was two interlock switch that they just hot wired there together. Pretty much the power does look like it's original. They just had disconnected -5 and +12 volts from it. And there's a board. Yeah, I mean, transformer, not much else. Got that lock cut out. The monitor cable looks like it's, oh yeah, they spliced into it here. That's where that goes to. That's probably the monitor cable right there. So I might have to fix that or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I have my original harness anyway. Just got some lock bar holes, cobwebs and stuff, but this, you know, should clean up. I can patch that and just put some, you know, brownish kind of wood colored paint on there. It won't look that bad. Wonder what that says there. Berg, B-U-R-G. Interesting. I cleaned this up right there. There was some double-sided tape. The one thing I like about these Centuri cabinets is the power switch is like integrate. Well, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's integrated into the marquee light. If you can see there, there's the power switch right there. Oh, the other thing is, unfortunately, holes in the coin door, which sucks. There's the parts, my parts bin, and this might be a Wico joystick, but I had to tear it. I can't get it off. It's got like some type of metal where the grommet fits into it is frozen on there, so I'm gonna have to put some de-rusting stuff on there. And I think they drilled some extra holes, or they screwed up the control panel, I'm pretty sure. But all right, that's where we're at so far. Got the Time Pilot one back over there in the corner. Okay, yeah, so anyway, I got the Pac-Man control panel off, and I'm using some mech, which is bad stuff, but it's pretty old. You can see how rusted it is, and I'm starting to clean it off. It's starting to come off pretty easily, just with some light rubbing. So I'm not going to film the whole process, but I'm going to see how much of this I can actually get off, which is kind of interesting to see what the control panel looks like. They cut these holes right here because probably of how the Pac-Man thing lined up. So, but I'm just getting cold in here in the garage. Got a little bit of a heater going. Cleaned up most of the bolts and stuff, and tumbled them or de-rusted them. I already got some T-molding from tmolding.com. I went with the bigger spine because the way these Centuri cabinets are cut, and I didn't bother recutting grooves and stuff, and it's not perfect, like right there. I hate that little gap right there, but good enough for me. De-rusted the leg leveler mounts, and I'm about to put those on there. I'm going to try to clean up that bottom just a little bit. Sorry for the angles there. And then I also filled some holes here. I just need to putty them up and then try to protect as much of the vinyl as I can, or the wood grain, whatever it is. I think it's vinyl. Protect that. Finish cleaning up the cab, basically, is the bottom line. So I don't know if, did I show this already? Like this bottom part, you can still see a little bit of it, had some type of crap all over it, and it took me quite a bit to get it off, but I mean, it's looking better. I'm just cleaning it up. Filled those holes there as well. I need to sand that in Bondo or something real quick. And I didn't do those holes there, but I need to. They put a lot of holes in this damn cabinet. All right, but that's just a status update. I'm going to flip it on its side, mount the leg levelers, and all right, got the other side on there, or have it laying down on the other side. But this is the kind of stuff that was on the bottom here. I don't know if I had a good before picture of the other side. I don't know. It's just like, it's either just dirt or, I mean, I don't know what the hell that is, but it's filthy. So got the new leg levelers on, and yeah, clean this part up. I mean, it's good enough for now. I'm not gonna go crazy on this thing. There we go. Took me about an hour, but I got everything cleaned up on this side anyway. So I had to use combination of, let's see here, goof off right there, some magic eraser. Let's see, I'm gonna go over it again just to make sure I got everything. But yeah, it's not bad, except for at the bottom there's a little bit of damage, but I'm keeping that. And right here it looks like this is about to crack, which is not uncommon for these MDF type cabinets. So all right, I'll try to get it in the basement. Where did I leave off at? I don't know, but I'm just filming the inside of the cabinet. I need to sand these right here. This is what happens. See, like I get tearing down this cabinet on the inside. You probably can't see it, but I need to fix a couple portions of the bottom where the I don't know what you call them, brackets, or what the heck do you call those things? Right there. But it's like they're not all the way down, and I have to replace one or something. Why am I filming this? No idea. Get those holes sanded and painted. This is a little loose. Put a fresh coat of paint on that. Put a coat of paint on the top. I removed the marquee light right there. What else did I want to show? There was something else I thought. Oh yeah, like stuff like this. Like, see how that's coming back? I need to clamp that in and maybe glue it or something. So, all right, I was getting ready to Bondo this stuff. Had a brand new thing of Bondo. I think I got this from Harbor Freight. Opened it up, and it is rock. It's not rock solid, but I mean it's a mess in there. Like, look at this. I mean, what the hell? And then I looked at the bottom. I've never seen that kind of corrosion before. Super weird. I don't know where I had this at. I might have had it for a while. I'm not sure. But that put a damper on the rest of my day because I was ready to Bondo that and paint it. Just a little bit of paint on that. Some Bondo at the bottom just to clean it up a little bit. Clean up the backside. Clean that up. Paint the top. That's all I'm going to do. Another thing I was noticing is, now I got my light on, you can see the back part of where the back door locks in. It's like black up here, but it looks like it's just regular, the wood grain vinyl, and it's missing a piece. So I went and grabbed the one from my Time Pilot, and sure enough, that back piece has a little retainer wood strip on there. So I do not have that for this one. So I'm going to have to cut a piece or rob it from my Time Pilot cab. The other thing is they look pretty much identical, the cabinets. This is the Locomotion. The angle of the monitor is fine. It looks identical, like where this is at with the paper covering the lockout switch and the line filter and all that stuff looks good. But this Locomotion has a shelf that actually pulls out. Oh, you know what? They might have removed something there. That's probably what that was. They actually removed something that was on the back side of this. Let me show you. In the Time Pilot, maybe. In the Time Pilot, there's like a little piece of 1.5 inch plywood that covers that part in the back of the cabinet. If you guys can see that. But here you can see, like, this is where that paper was. This is where the line filter was. I mean, it looks like identical. I'm pretty sure. Let me see what that looks like on the inside there. Does this look like it would slide out? As a little shelf. Yeah, it looks the same. This one can slide out because there's no piece of wood in there. No wood on the back side of it. Interesting. So maybe I need to cut a piece of wood there. Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Interesting. I'm just looking around. I might cut some of this out. Seems like these wood pieces here are shorter in the Locomotion. But otherwise it looks the same. Alright, I got the shelf out. That way it's a little bit easier to clean and stuff like that. But mainly I just wanted to get to the bottom of the cabinet so I can redo those blocking strips, I guess. Are they called blocking strips? I think so. I removed all of them that were loose, but one of them did break, as you can see right here. Which kind of sucks, but it broke right where the where the nail was. I wonder if I can fix that. Probably not worth it. I might cut another one. I'm right there. You see where the vinyl is? And I removed the mesh right there just because it's kind of dingy and I want to clean the bottom real good. But the other thing that's kind of interesting is at the front of the cabinet, like this thing is not blocked at all. You would think that there would be a piece of blocking wood right there. I don't know why that is. It's kind of weird. And it's not super sturdy. These blocks, I don't know. Might need to try to bang those in there or put a couple more staples in them. Shouldn't be hard stapling that thing in there. I'm going to look to see if I should block that or not. Because see how it's just literally just doesn't make any sense. And obviously I painted the back side and I kind of masked off everything. I painted the top as well. Just flat black. I mean, nothing, not trying to make it perfect or anything like that, like sand it smooth or anything, just freshen it up a little bit. Some slow progress here. I got my nail gun or staple gun from Harbor Freight there. I had to cut some new blocking things and I fixed that. The whole cabinet, I didn't do it before, but it was like kind of like off kilter or something like that. It was weird. And I cleaned that up real quick. Painted the bottom. Just, you know, tidied it up a little bit. I probably should have painted those. But I'm not worried about it right now. So, after doing all this work, fixing the holes in the front right there. Like you can still see it doesn't look that great. But I mean, cleaning all this stuff up, it is almost like, why the hell? Might as well just, you know, cut a new cabinet at this point. I don't know. If I had the skill, I might need to do that eventually because it's a lot of work. I mean, it's taken me, you know, probably 10, 15 hours, I'm sure, waiting on and off. All right, I got the front part pretty much cleaned up. These holes didn't come out as good as I wanted to, so a little bit of the, you know, vinyl grain is rubbed off there, but I should be able to do something else. But this part down here cleaned up pretty good. But I just want to show you, like, I don't know what was on it. It's like I had to take a razor blade and scrape it off. I mean, it took me quite a bit of time using goof off and stuff like that to get that cleaned up. The other thing is, real quick, I failed on my use of mech. I should have been nice and slow, but I just doused it with mech and it kind of like liquefied the residue or the paint, and then I think screwed it up even more. So I didn't want to spend too much time on trying to sorry about that, try to recover it 100% because it's jacked up anyway. I mean, it's got holes. I mean, I'm not going to be able to reuse it, I don't think so. But I don't know if anybody's ever made a reproduction of that either. Interesting. That's the Locomotion. So all right, I'm going to take off. Everything's pretty much ready. I just got to do some final cleaning of the inside and kind of tidy up these bolts and remove them, wire wheel them, and paint them. So I think it's ready for the basement though. All right, got the cabinet in the basement and just going to put some final touches on it. I'm going to cut in some pictures of what this control panel overlay or control panel look like. There's definitely a lot of pitting. I had to sand it down, prime it, paint it. Even with this right here, which I painted satin black, you can see the pitting on this thing from the rust and stuff. So the other thing is, this is the monitor that was out of it. I need to get this back together, but as you can see, I've de-rusted this thing in the past and it's still, I don't know how good that looks, but not great. But I do have the control panel harness. I'm not going to need the transformer, so I'll save that for maybe a future time pilot or something else. And I have to find the Monroe joystick. So, but otherwise, I think pretty much the harness. Oh, I do have the harness, the original Time Pilot harness, but I also already have the Locomotion harness in here. So try to get this cleaned up and the monitor back working, and put a 4900 chassis in there and see if we can actually get it working. All right, my not so safe wire wheel setup. A little bit of Rust-Oleum rust inhibitor, which is probably just WD-40, and then I basically just doused it, wire wheeled everything, sanded it where I couldn't get the wire wheel and stuff, but it looks pretty good. But you can see the heavy pitting. I mean, this thing was rusted like crazy. But I think it's ready to go get reassembled. All right, got it back together. It is a little oily, but it's looking, you know, hopefully it won't rust. Had to get some of these cage nuts, 1/4 inch, so I can put them in right here in these holes and then put it on the monitor here in a second. Got everything back together at the bench. Here's my monitor chassis. Unfortunately, it has this, I don't know what you call it, this kind of connector versus with you know, the semicircle, 2 semicircles, and my most monitors, including my bench, have a connector like this with 1 semicircle connector and a 1 circle connector. So I'm gonna have to remove this and either repin it or put a different male plug on it. The other thing is, I'm not positive if this was the chassis, but I looked at my box of 4900 chassis and this one had some rust on it. So I'm kind of thinking it might be the chassis. It looks like it's complete, but I have no idea if it works or not. The other thing is, if you can see here, the yoke connector was split, so they probably had to reverse it in the game. I just put it back normal, so I didn't have to figure out, you know, which way is what. If you just like reverse them around, I think you switch yellow and green, but I have to go check my notes because that always confuses me, and you don't want to blow out something. So let me do this. Oh, the other thing is, I have my little thing from Delusional's Arcade. It's a little monitor mirror right there, so I can actually see what's on the monitors by facing it away from me, which is nice, and still keep it at the bench. So, all right, have it powered, wired up. Let's see. There's my. I'm gonna hit this. Gosh dang it! I'm all like jacked up in here. Oh, I didn't hear anything. Is this not plugged in? Helps if I plug it in. So here we go. Oh, I hear it. Sounds good. Let's see if we get anything on the screen. Bam. That thing's working. That chassis is working. Anything smoking? Nope. Alright, so chassis is working. I haven't even capped it, and I have no idea what monitor it came from. I do not think it came from the Time Pilot chat, but and I'm not sure about the yoke there. I'm gonna have to go look at my thread about what chassis goes with that yoke. I mean, look at that rust right there. So I cleaned it up the best. Well, I didn't clean up the yoke part because I don't want to mess with that and knock it all out of alignment or convergence, etc. All right, I'm ready to put the control panel overlay on, but I had 2 of them, and I'm kind of not sure which one I should do. This one does not have pre-cut holes. I don't know exactly where I got it from, so I'd have to line it up. And then that's the Willis overlay, which I think looks, you know, outstanding. I really love this overlay, but it's a little bit older. It does have a small kink. Let's see if you can see it in the light. Has a small kink right there, and I might need to spray some more adhesive on it, but it does have the cutouts for the buttonholes for alignment purposes. So I don't know, I'm torn, and that's why I'm kind of been stuck for about a day, because I don't know exactly what I want to do. I don't even know if anybody has a full 100% accurate scan of this, and it would be nice if somebody reproduced it, and then I would be like, yeah, fine, just use this thing. Alright, I'm back at the back of the cabinet here, and I found some interesting stuff. So let me see here. Might have to pause and work this in here. Let's see here. So one of the things is, yeah, you can see that the Konami Classic pinout typically would have 5 volts at the bottom here of this connector, and the 5 volts is actually like somewhere in the middle, which is kind of weird. Hopefully you can see this. Like, yeah, it's like one of these 2 red pins here, like right in the middle. That, I mean, it's a good thing I checked this, because, you know, in the documentation it says Locomotion is a Konami Classic pinout, and maybe they moved the pins around or something. You can see they unplugged the -5, I believe, which is this purple wire right here. But that's going to lead me to actually need to replace this harness with the one I pulled out of the Time Pilot. The other thing that the Time Pilot harness has is a volume pot. So there's like a connector here that's kind of like daisy chained off of the speaker wires that goes to this volume pot right here. So that was interesting. The other interesting thing is, let me turn this on. Change this to voltage. Alright, can you see that somewhat, I think? How's that? No, you can't see jack. Alright, you can see that somewhat. The transformer down here, down there on the primary side, this purple, blue, and green are both 100 volts as well as 115 volts or something. So the monitor plug, which is here, and I don't know what it, yeah, no, this is, I have to look at my Time Pilot to see if it's the same way. But if you connect it here, let's see. You get 120 volts. And then if you go to this one, these two, I guess the middle and this one, you get 100 volts. If you come to the power supply, it's 103 volts. So this power supply, oh gosh, you can't see it. This power supply over here is like a 100 volt power supply, and the transformer gives you the option of having a 100 volt monitor or 120 volt monitor, which I found interesting. Maybe even the marquee light is 100 volts, I'm not sure. So I'm going to check. I'm definitely going to have to replace the harness, because I'm not going to move pins all around and stuff. I'm just going to put in my Time Pilot harness here and wire it up correctly, and take out the Locomotion harness. But that is kind of curious to me, because I don't understand how that Locomotion harness says Luma on it, or Lumo. So maybe it was pins were moved to support some other PCB. Maybe it was moved to support a bootleg Miss Pac-Man PCB. Maybe that was why the connectors were moved. I don't know. It had a JAMA harness in it, so interesting, but I'm gonna have to pull out the harness. All right, got the harness, my original Time Pilot harness in there, and I also figured this out. You can see here, this is from, can you see that? Mike's Arcade, Miss Pac-Man 3 bootleg pinouts, and you can see that the 5 volts are on pin 17 and 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the grounds and stuff. So they definitely had repinned this out to be a Miss Pac-Man bootleg, and that makes sense because it originally came with the Miss Pac-Man marquee. Now, unfortunately, Time Pilot PCB is obviously larger than what's in there before, which is kind of nuts. So I'm going to have to remove this frame that was there for Locomotion and put in this big thing from my Time Pilot PCB, and then also repin this monitor connection, or maybe this end. You know, I mean, I'll have to put a three pin connector on it or something to get it 120 volts or 115 volts. All right, here we go. I tested the power supply earlier with the load. I think it's at least close. And I had to put in I went and dug around and found actually the correct case or PCB holder for the Time Pilot PCB. I think this other one over here was for maybe track and field or something like that. Repin that to 120 volts. And gosh, it's powered on, I guess. Oh, I don't actually have the monitor hooked up. I guess we'll find out if the PCB fires up. So you missed where I did hook up the monitor and the PCB wasn't coming on, so I brought it to the bench and it still wasn't booting up. We'll test it here again. I do get it to boot up now, just because I don't even know what's wrong with it, but there's a lot of corrosion on some of these chips. There's some corrosion there in the sound area. You see those traces there? So I'm gonna have to do some PCB work, but we'll just power it on real quick. And you see that it's booting, but I'm not getting any sound. It's on free play, and I'm not getting any sound at all. And I think it has to do with this area. Something's wrong, either caps or something's going on. So this is a good spot for me to stop this video because I have to do some PCB work, and I'll come back and do another video on repairing the PCB. But before I go, I'm curious if you have preference on which control panel overlay I should use. I am leaning towards, you know, using the original, which is a reproduction though, but the original design versus the Willis right there. But I do really like that Willis. It's so colorful versus the black and stuff, but it doesn't say Centuri obviously on it. So, all right, that's it for this video. Next video we'll work on this board here, and then we'll hopefully get the sound working.